Hi, everybody. Welcome back and happy Sunday. As you can see, I have this little, hey, all you cool cats and kittens. I feel like I'm like Carol Baskin over here with this rat thing. All right, guys. Well, we're back to talk about Jax Taylor and a few other things, including the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. So before we jump in, go ahead, pop off in the comment section. If you guys are not subscribed, get subscribed. Don't forget to hit that notification bell. And let's start here, shall we? So, thank you to Reality Blurb. It looks like Jax Taylor revealed when he began using drugs and when he hit rock bottom during an interview just this past week. Now, he confirmed his cocaine addiction and his 2 stints in rehab, which one of them was complete bullshit, as you guys know. He explained that he left after just 2 weeks, I think, and he felt like the rest of the time was not necessary. But Jax explained how his childhood impacted his adult life, dished on his strained relationship with Brittany Cartwright, and admitted to wanting to reach out to Lala, while also discussing drinking during filming and sharing his fears about the upcoming season of The Valley. He said, I am an addict. I have substance issues, primarily with cocaine. I've been dealing with this for the last on and off since I was 23. There are times where I would stop doing it, and there were times where I would go heavy on it. I think a lot of people who watched Vanderpump Rules over the years could kind of tell that I was on something. Obviously, production and other people, they didn't know what I was doing. Everything I was doing was on my own, but I was just on that train and I could not get off. And according to Jax, he couldn't do the pasta without drinking. So he gave up both and is now over 100 days sober, which he said it's the longest he's ever gone since 21. It feels really, really good. But I just want to let people know this is a really tough disease. It's a really tough sickness. To come out and say that I have an addiction, that I have a sickness that I have to work on for the rest of my life is a really big deal for me. And it's a huge weight lifted off my shoulders. Well, since getting honest with his addiction struggles, Jax has worked really, really hard on his sobriety, visiting rehab not once, but twice after hitting rock bottom. I would say my father's death was the hardest year until this year, and I'm going through a divorce right now, which is extremely difficult. When Brittany and I separated, that's when the addiction got worse, and I literally lost control. And I kind of think at a point I hit rock bottom and I had to go to rehab. But now looking back on his life, Jack said that he'd been given wiggle room his whole life. I've been put out, like on a pedestal. I'm the golden child in my family. It was always a slap on the wrist. I've never gotten in trouble for really anything. Now, as for his relationship with Brittany, Jack said that things between them change daily. One day she's happy, one day she's mad. I never know what I'm going to get with her. I walk on eggshells constantly, is what he said. Um, why do we find that? I would just say that I find that hard to believe. He said he's doing everything that she's asked, including going to rehab, attending therapy, and even undergoing drug testing. He's also helping with their 3-year-old son, Cruz Michael Cauchi, saying, I take care of my son as much as she allows me to. I want to be in my son's life, and I want to be in her life to some extent. That's why I moved a mile away. I wanted to be a 5-minute drive in case she needed me. But still, there's a lot of animosity and a lot of hurt between them. We haven't been getting along for a very long time, and it takes two. And I just think that we've been unhappy in our marriage for a long time. And I think that we've just been kind of sweeping it under the rug. But despite noting that it takes two to argue, Jax did confess to being a self sabotager in pretty much all of his relationships, saying, instead of being a man and saying, listen, Brittany, I don't think this relationship is going where it needs to go. We need to end it. I'll just get angry and fight and make her leave me. And that's what I did. I would constantly go out. I would constantly go on benders. I would constantly come home hungover or drunk or the next day and start a war hoping that she would leave me. That's terrible. But continuing on about Brittany, Jack said that while he still loves her, there's no chance that they'll get back together. It would just be a ticking time bomb for the next fight. He did admit, though, to being happy that they never had more kids. He said, thank God. But reflecting on his time on Vanderpump Rules, Jack said he and his castmates would often sneak away from production and drink. I would go off on my own. We would film a scene and you have 30 minutes downtime. So most people would go rest and I would go to a bar and get lit Chris and Dodie would have a flask. Stassi would have a flask. We would be in there getting ripped before a scene, and nobody knew where we were. But according to Jax, they did so because they were not allowed to drink during the scenes. They frowned on it, is what they said. The producers. I don't know about that. But also, speaking of Vanderpump Rules, Jax said that he was planning to reach out to Lala for help with this sobriety, saying the girls are all very Team Brittany right now, which is understandable. But I am going to reach out to Lala when I hit 100 days. And I'm just going to say, hey, listen, I know you don't like me right now. I get it. This has nothing to do with my relationship with Brittany and I, but I'm wondering if I can just talk to you about being sober because I knew you were where I was and you were a train wreck too, and you admit it. I don't know how she's going to take to that, but with season 2 of The Valley impending, Jack said that he was afraid of what the series would reveal, saying, it gives me severe anxiety. I feel like this will be the hardest season of my life. And personally, this is going to be a very hard season for so many reasons. I'm a father. I was married. I have huge consequences for my actions now. I'm going through a public divorce. My child's custody was on the line. These are big things, and I'm very scared, but that's why I wanted to come out and say what I said. All right. Well, we'll see how that plays out. Now, moving on over to Faye Resnick. Faye is speaking out against rumors suggesting that she may have been the one who leaked the news of Kyle's separation from Mauricio. What? Faye spoke to OK Magazine saying this is absolutely untrue. She talked to Kyle about the made up story and that neither of them wanted to address the false claim. When Kyle and Mauricio announced that they were separating, the info did not initially come from them, is what an insider said. It came from a source on the show. Kyle did discuss this in a confessional, saying that she had an idea who had leaked their private info, but that Mauricio thought he knew, and she didn't want to believe it. And there was speculation last year that it may have been Faye Resnick, and that's definitely seeming quite plausible. But Faye was in Kyle's inner circle. Likely she would have been privy to the information regarding Kyle's personal life. But the source also signaled a recent Beverly Hills scene in which, well, Faye and Kyle weren't seen together. When Faye appeared at Jennifer Tilly's caviar party on the current season, fans did not see Kyle interact with Faye whatsoever. In fact, Kathy Hilton was the one who brought Faye to the caviar party, and it's a known fact that Kathy and Kyle have had their share of drama over the past few years, and Kathy does associate with people that Kyle doesn't necessarily get along with. So they even noted that while Faye and Kyle were still following one another on Instagram, that they were intentionally doing so to keep people from speculating. But an insider said, while no one will come out and confirm that this is 100% what happened, there's definitely chatter around the neighborhood that it could be what occurred. And as for Faye's claims about Mauricio, she was seen bringing up a guy's trip in a flashback moment that will be featured on the March 11th episode of Beverly Hills. After Kyle and Mauricio were seen discussing his kiss with another woman in Greece, and Kyle admitting to doubting his claims about the little amount of partying that he did. Faye, Kyle, and Dorit were seen at a party with their castmates 2 weeks earlier. What was said was, by the way, you do know that Mo is trying to get PK and my husband to go to. And Dorit said, Saint-Tropez, I know. And Faye asked Kyle, so now he wants to drag my husband into his single lifestyle? Well, good luck, Kyle. It sounds like you have a lot on your plate. I got a little naked pee-pee on mine. See? Yeah. Can't wait to hear how that's gonna go. Guys, pop off in the comments section, especially about the Jax of it all and the Faye of it all. Is Faye the rat? Is Faye the narc? We don't know. Pop off, smash the like button, show some love, and say bye. Mayday. Bye. Okay. Love you guys. Bye.